It's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday, March the 18th. I'm Emerson Collins.
And I'm Del Shores.
And you're listening to The Del and Emerson Show.
Straight talk.
Real gay. Oh my God, it's an exciting show. This is not a We Are Enough show. Today we are not enough. We have two very exciting guests joining us. Singer-songwriter Ann Steele is here to talk about her brand new EP of all original material called What's Mine, along with the co-founder of Our Family Vacations, Kelli Carpenter. So we're going to get to it
and
so
they're
they can
married.
get in here.
They're
Yes.
married people.
So
Legally
lesbians,
married.
this is for you.
Yes, it's our big tribute to the lesbian
Yes.
show.
Hi, Del Shores. How are you?
I'm well. And you know what? We are not faking having just seen each other. I haven't seen you all day.
I know. I feel like it's the middle of the night. Hey, this sounds really weird.
Does it?
Yes.
Yeah, mine does too.
So
I was pretending that it didn't, but
Yes.
are we okay?
it's better. It's just it's not all on my headphones like it usually is. It's a little bit in my headphones, but I hear a whole lot of the room. You guys at home, this is live. I mean, the studio audience, there's like 400 of them back here.
And
They are
Emerson
hearing this.
is very
It's fine. That was a little
difficult.
better. I think we're just not that loud, as loud as we usually are in our own ears.
I was worried we weren't on the air for a second.
Well, you know, I can't tell the difference. I forget that it's not just you and me talking for John's entertainment. But yes, it feels like it's the middle of the night for me because I'm tearing my way through rehearsals for Buyer and Seller in Palm Springs. It opens next Friday. That's in 9
That's
days.
crazy.
It's
It just seems
9
like
days.
you started
Ugh,
rehearsal.
I did.
And
We're
a lot of
halfway.
words.
Yeah.
It's a lot of words.
So many
Emerson.
words. But I ran it all the way through last night for the first time, all the way through without stopping. And then I did it this morning again at 11 o'clock. So it was like doing a morning matinee, which is an interesting experience. But I made it all the way through. It's not brilliant yet, but I know that I can do the whole show without stopping. So I've gotten over the hump of, okay, there will at least be a show.
And do you call for line ever?
No, we're going with the he notes, where there's an issue, I jumped a few things, but for me, now it's push through, solve the problem, because it's an hour and 35 minutes of just me, and that way, if something happens, hopefully the audience laughs, and if I get thrown, I can recover and solve the problem. So I'm having a ton of fun.
You tell the story. That's what I always say when I direct. Tell
Yes.
the story.
So if you're in Palm Springs or have any friends, the tickets are on sale and available at coyotestageworks.org. Tell your friends.
And drive down there. It's not that far from L.A.
Make it a little night.
Yeah, it's worth it to see Emerson Collins. And I have to say, Emerson, you're such your director's probably thrilled with you because this is a big role. It's just you.
It's so
on
much
set.
of me.
And Southern Baptist Sissies was a lot of you. But I remember when we were rehearsing, and we would have those speed throughs, and then we would have Rachel, our wonderful actress, but was stage managing for me, and she would note everybody who missed a line, and it was ridiculous how few you never missed any words, none.
Right now, I'm jumbling occasionally here and there. I'll be honest, but I am truly having a blast. So just as an actor, it's an incredible experience to be responsible for everything, and it's such a great lesson. We talk all the time about you have to be in the moment, be present. There is no moment. If something stumbles or there's a weird, that moment was weird, I cannot stop to think about that because other words are still coming out of my mouth. So it's a great lesson in truly being present in what's happening right now. So yeah, March 27th to April the 6th, my director Larry Rabin has been a joy and a delight to work with, and they're awesome. So if you're in Palm Springs or can get out there, come see me.
And Jonathan Toland's script is pretty
exquisite.
Damn
it is
brilliant.
the more times I do it, the more I appreciate the genius of what he crafted. So, all right, well, shall we tell some stories?
Well, we shall. I mean, we keep having a quality update, and we've got some good stuff this week.
We
correct?
do. This one is for the Oklahomos, where the gays go prancing down the lane.
I will be there soon
with your show. I know it's gonna all this material. We just keep giving you more and more stories.
I know, and since we usually save it for the end, but go to my Facebook and find my shows in Oklahoma. I'm doing Tulsa and Oklahoma City. April 16th is Tulsa, and April 19th is Oklahoma City. And I'm actually, Emerson, I haven't even told you this, but I'm actually doing an entire monologue as Sally Kern, and then I'm doing a nice letter to her from me.
Oh, that's perfect. I
So
just
I
feel
get
like
to-
it'll be so generous and sharing.
I will not be wearing a wig. I'll just be channeling her internal hatred and cuntism, because I'm good at that.
Yes, you are. Well, in the Oklahomas,
That
there
word.
was Some really good news. Of the three terrible bills they proposed, the reparative therapy bill has died. That was
Good.
Great and exciting news. And then on their Religious Freedom Act, Representative Emily Virgin introduced an amendment that is brilliant and should be paid attention to by Democratic and open-minded lawmakers across the country. She added an amendment that would require customers who plan to refuse business based on their personal beliefs to post a sign saying so. It says, any person who is unwilling to serve individuals based on sexual orientation, gender, identity, or race of either party to the marriage shall post notice of such refusal clearly visible to the public. Basically, they have to put up a sign that says no shoes, no shirts, no gay, bisexual, or transgender service. I think it's genius.
Or maybe just a picture of Richard Simmons with one of those things. Oh, no, that's horrible.
That probably is. That probably wouldn't cover all of it. But I love it. It's so brilliant because, great, if you're going to object based on that, you should be willing to publicly, proudly, on the front of your business, say so.
Absolutely. Say, I am an asshole hater. Put it out there. Just put it out there, and I will just go by and scream at your business. Just scream loudly, but I won't go in.
It really, really is. Like, I read it, and I thought, this woman is a genius. Like,
I love
that
her.
she came up with this.
So I wrote you an email, and I said, I think we should start having a hero of the week.
I need a hero.
And this week, our hero is Emily Virgin. I love her. And
yes.
She's sort of, this is sort of like that. Remember the Alabama congresswoman who said,
yes,
yo, you keep hating, and I'm just going to tell who's committing adultery.
Yes, the one that created the Tim Cook bill. Yes, we love these ladies. All right, well, flashing on through the news. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure some of you were vomiting or pooping weird green substances from all that green beer.
A lot of green.
Terrible idea. But this yesterday and this weekend, two important events occurred. In both New York and Boston, for the first time ever, a gay group marched in the St. Patrick's Day parade. It's a big deal because of the strong Catholic affinity of the organizations that put on the parade. In New York, out at NBC Universal was allowed to march. However, Mayor Bill de Blasio still refused to attend because they limit it to just that one group. There are still LGBT rights groups that are protesting the parade because that's the only one they allowed to. And basically, because NBC is such a big part of it, they were able to make that happen. But in Boston, two groups marched as well. So for Irish and Catholic people in those communities, it is a step forward. It's been decades of
there were some
arguments
protests
on this subject.
though.
Yeah, and there should be, because it's sort of like one person is not everyone. It's not open to any.
No, but
all
I mean, there
groups.
were some protests about even the groups. I saw some signs, some haters there not wanting the gay people.
Oh
there.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
So.
On both ends, and then LGBT people protesting that like one group isn't enough. So.
Right.
You got to decide. But which is really interesting and relevant because in the original homeland of the people, in Ireland, it looks like they are going to approve same-sex marriage in a referendum in May, which is a really big deal. It's an extremely Catholic country. And also, if they pass it, they will be the first European country to pass same-sex marriage by a vote rather than by judges
people.
and the legal system.
This is wonderful.
So that would be a
Progress
huge
being made
and exciting for them. I didn't put it in the story, but yesterday the Presbyterian USA organization announced that the Presbyterian Church will start allowing same-sex marriages. So that's a huge thing. Lots of dominant denominations coming around.
Yeah, there's that huge one down the street right here on Gower that has been doing this for a long time, from what I understand. So.
And it's great and important because there are many LGBT people to whom their faith is strong and important, and being able to worship at the churches that they choose to is really exciting for them.
I'm not one of those people.
I know you are
but
not.
I go, okay, if you want to continue to worship, that's fine. I'm going to stay home and read.
It leads nicely into, for those of you watching on the webcast, Dell has made his own adjustment to a new piece of jewelry he is wearing. It's what we're calling crooked crucifix, because he's just mashed this cross all to hell. Well, literally.
An ex-boyfriend gave me this, and it's not exactly the best gift for me because, I'm not real, it's like, I don't think, maybe Jesus would like me, but a lot of his people don't, So I thought, well, this is sort of what the cross means to me. It's kind of gone askew. It's sort of just, so I got a pliers out today, and I thought, it's lesbian day here at the Dell and Emerson show. I got my toolbox out, and I got the pliers. You should have seen me trying to fuck with this thing, but I did it, and I think it makes a good statement, and I'm wearing it. So,
well, if I can't decide if people at home be more offended offended by your crooked cross crucifix or one of those penis pendants. Maybe we should get you one and you could wear them together. Hang it on the same necklace.
I have to say, I was so scared you were going to go after my torn T-shirt and you were going to say more offended. I thought you were going to be one of those bitchy queens. Okay, well, that's a nice segue into fashion news.
Yes.
Oh, have you been following? If you have not been following Dolce & Gabbana controversy, you're living under a gay rock. It's crazy.
What's that gay rock look like? Is it just sort of rainbow colored, or is it one of those rocks with glitter on it for no apparent reason?
I think it's rainbow with glitter.
Okay.
I think, and I don't think it's as heavy as the other rock.
It's a little lighter. It's like pumice. It's more like pumice than a rock.
It's the one you can really get skipping across the pond.
You can just prance its way merrily across the lake. Okay.
Oh, well, the gay designers, former couple, said, and I thought, since I was a huge fan of Father Guido Sarducci, and it's basically one of the only accents, I'm not sure it's an Italian accent, it's a Father Guido Sarducci accent, I'm going to be playing Dolce & Gabbana because it seems like they're attributing these quotes to both of them. They collectively said them. And then you are going to be doing Sir Elton John,
right?
Correct? And we're going to get through this and then talk a little bit about it. We oppose gay adoptions. The only family is the traditional one. You were born to a mother and a father, or at least that's how it should be. I call children of chemistry synthetic children. Uteruses for rent. Semen chosen from a catalog. I am gay. I cannot have a child. I guess you cannot have everything in life. Life has a natural course. Some things cannot be changed. One is the family.
Okay, well, after that Chef Boyardee Italian, I'm going to do Elton John as Eliza Doolittle. How dare you refer to my beautiful children as synthetic? And shame on you for wagging your judgmental little fingers at IVF, a miracle that has allowed legions of loving people, both straight and gay, to fulfill their dreams of having children.
And, it seems like with all the flap, and I posted a picture today of a lot of Dolce & Gabbana cologne thrown in a trash can. And, people are just burning shit. It seems like that they would maybe have a little humility, say, hey, I'm wrong, or there was a language problem, something. But no, they are continuing to stand by what they said. So the follow-up was, we firmly believe in democracy and the fundamental principle of freedom of expression that upholds it. We talked about our way of seeing reality, but it was never our intention to judge other people's choices. Bull fucking shit. That is totally judgmental what they did. That was Dell coming into the scene. Now, continuing. We do believe in the freedom and love.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. First of all, this has been such an interesting conversation to watch. Obviously, Elton John's strong response, because it directly is a commentary on the children that he has, made it a really big issue.
Beautiful picture we have there.
I posted it and had a whole lot of people sort of go with the why is this such a big deal? There's so much bigger things to be worried about. First of all, I want to say something about that. I hate that comment as a derailing of a discussion. If you don't like a discussion, don't contribute to it. Don't post on it. Don't comment on it. If you don't think it's worth talking about, don't talk about it. The end.
And these are the same people sometimes that are like putting recipes for their leek soup up. It's like, come on. We all have our... I get so livid at some in our community who are okay with haters in our community. And I banned and blocked a guy today who basically said, screw you for your opinion. And then I also have an issue, and I know you do too, with those people who say, but it's their opinion. And then they act like you don't have the right to your opinion to counter their opinion.
Yes, it's free. They have the freedom of speech comment. Yes, they do. Absolutely. And there's a fundamental lack of understanding of what that means. The Constitution guarantees the right to freedom of speech from government oppression. You have the right to say it. The government cannot inhibit your speech. You get to say whatever you want. Then everybody else gets to respond.
That's right.
That's the way it works. If you don't want any response, don't say it out loud. Think it in your head. Say it in your home. Don't share it with the world. But the minute you say anything, just like we are doing now, everybody else gets to tell you whether they think it's good, they agree, they hate it, you're awful. That's the way it works.
And we can say, I fucking hate you. I cannot stand you. I will throw your shit away. We have the right to do that. You have the right to say, well, you're just ridiculous. They have the right to say, hey, don't post this or whatever, but they're doing exactly what we're all doing. It's like it's this vicious cycle.
And to the actually important issue, I do actually think that it's genuinely important for several reasons. First, LGBT families in our in our country face enormous obstacles. We talked about when we went to the Family Equality Council dinner
Yes.
about the experiences that same-sex parents have in dealing with their children, from birth certificates all the way through the process of enrolling in schools and all sorts of things. And so this is a very current, modern, relevant issue. And specifically too, they're not even American, they're Italian, as we know. In Italy, they're one of the very few high-profile out gay couples. Well, right-wing conservatives in Italy have used their statement saying, see, even gay people in Italy don't think that gay families should be okay. They are struggling there with just getting to civil unions. They are nowhere near considering same-sex marriage. And so this opinion, particularly where they are from, is incredibly impactful.
Hey, Nam endorsed what they had to say. No,
I mean,
come
if that
on.
doesn't tell
if
you.
If you want somebody to endorse it, it's not Nam. I mean, come on. It enrages me. It really does. Do you see? I mean, it makes me madder than the Christians telling me I'm going to hell. It really
Well,
does.
there is something about, when somebody inside within the community says something that seems like a betrayal of the community, that we react even more strongly, because we're all supposed to be on the same team, and that's sort of what this felt like. Now, there is something sort of funny, because I did see like 90% of the comments were like, I'm boycotting Dolce & Gabbana, but I can't afford it, so I don't buy it anyway, which is definitely the category I fall into. Until D&G is selling a line at H&M, they're a little out of my price range.
Yeah, and some of it I just don't even like. I mean, it's
Well,
that's another thing.
there's
But
no accounting for
I
taste.
wanted to boycott them. I went through my whole closet. I couldn't
Looking
find
for something?
just something to throw away, and I couldn't find anything. But I certainly am. I support this boycott, and I think they have done. I think they've horribly hurt their business. It'll
be interesting. I think the fashion magazines would have to start reflecting on it, because it really is an entirely high level of purchaser that can really afford to significantly buy in their clothing line. I think you'll see gay men not buying their underwear. Their underwear sales might take a dive. But regardless, it's also been a great segue to talk about the importance of rights for LGBT families. So.
And it's not just LGBT families that are using these wonderful medical miracles, yes, to have children. A straight man wrote me today, and he said that is the way that he had his children.
My roommate from college and his wife, they had to use IVF.
So to call them synthetic children, good for you, Sir Elton John. I'm glad.
Amen.
That he went after them, and Ryan Murphy went after them. Many people went after them.
All right, flashing on. Really quickly, this is just ridiculous, and the photo's up for those of you enjoying the webcast. In Madrid, there was a fashion show of completely nude male models. Like, they were completely
so
naked.
don't look at your screen if you don't want to see male genitalia.
Pain. There's lots of pain on the screen.
And please go into the chat room, because John's going to put a link up for
they
the
were
fashion show.
Selling handbags. That was the point of the fashion show. Which one? It's hysterical. Although I don't remember what any of the handbags look like. But maybe there were some ladies who enjoyed it. So
there was a lot of diversity in penises on that stage, though.
Well, something for everybody. Yeah. All choices. All right, flashing home.
Oh, what else do we have? Well, we have Sondheim against Lady Gaga.
Who?
Sondheim.
There he is.
What did I say?
Sondheim?
It should be Sondheim. That's a good name for him. He's a song person. On the Academy Awards, she was a travesty, he said. It was ridiculous as it would be from any singer who treats that music in a semi-operatic style. She had no relationship to what she was singing. What people liked was her versatility. What do you have to say about that, Emerson?
Well, I mean, he's a genius, so he sort of gets to say whatever he wants.
And
he's old. And so he's living in a... I mean, I'm sure there's people who could argue that, and I do think for a lot of people what was impressive about it was how different it was from her music. So, I mean, he's a cranky old genius, and then you reach a certain point, I mean, he's a god of musical theater. He gets to say whatever he wants to about anybody.
And his partner was saying, well, no, I loved her, and he goes, yeah, he liked her, I didn't. I mean, it was kind of interesting.
Which leads us on to super exciting news with Lady Gaga on American Horror Story. It has been announced this week that she will be joined by Matt Bomer as the male lead, Cheyenne Jackson, and Wes Bentley. I mean, it better be in some period where they can be either completely naked or all in tuxedos.
Or, I mean, for me... It was sick, but it was one of the hottest scenes ever on American Horror Story. Was last year that Matt Bomer when he was murdered. Naked.
That was so awkward because I feel like so many people got turned on and like somebody getting chopped to death.
I know
that's uncomfortable.
It was one of those things where you go, I'm kind of turned on and I shouldn't be. I don't know. It's it's like when I told my mom a dirty joke back, and she's oh, that's just awful. That's the way I felt about it. But I love Matt Bomer. He's my fantasy man. So I'm so excited and. Ann Walker loves Cheyenne Jackson. We met
That
him
is
recently.
not relevant.
What is relevant, Emerson? Tell me what's relevant.
We got to move on.
Oh,
What you got?
Oh, well, this is your story.
It is.
Go.
All right. We told this story a while ago about the guy in San Diego who was charged with willfully spreading HIV. Well, he was convicted this week and faces up to 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine. He knew he had HIV and began a relationship with another man and lied about his status. And after telling his partner he was HIV negative, encouraging him to have unprotected sex. So this is the first conviction under this statute in San Diego ever. It's an interesting topic because, across a lot of the country, a lot of these laws were enacted in the 80s with extreme punishments when there was a lot of terror and fear and people not knowing or understanding how HIV worked. But you look at the specifics of this situation where it seems like someone very intentionally lied and intentionally misled someone, and it's sort of hard to argue with that is there are areas of this issue where I think it is definitely gray because there's challenging aspects of disclosure and personal responsibility, but this seems intentional, and it sounds like he definitely deserved what he got.
Well, I have strong feelings about this. I cannot believe that it's 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine, quite frankly, for that kind of deceit. And his partner did test positive because of his actions. So it's not enough. I hope the partner now, and I hope he has money. I hope he sues him in a civil suit.
Well, we'll see.
Because I've been there. Not where someone intentionally did it, but I did have a boyfriend who contracted HIV by cheating on me behind my back. I was fine after all was said and done, but it was a horrifying 48 hours. So it just makes me livid when people aren't responsible.
Yeah, and it is an important thing. It's important within our community that there not be a stigma associated with having HIV, but that needs to also still be included with being personally responsible and being aware of safer sex practices or PrEP and condoms and being responsible in both asking and disclosing with your partner so that it's not a judgmental situation and we're all the same, but we're also all completely informed.
Absolutely.
In our decision
and
making.
honest.
Yes.
And honest.
All right.
A little fun story. There's a Christian group in Alaska, and if they've named their shelter for homeless people the Glory Hole.
Yes!
It's a mining term. A glory hole is a big, impressive-looking excavate. What is that?
Excavation.
Oh, excavation that's open to the surface. It can be either the top end of a deep mine shaft or an open pit mine.
Jesus, even the definition for the mining term is awful.
It's just horrible.
I mean, it makes me want to be homeless for a few weeks. I'd go stay at the Glory Hole.
Well,
see what happens.
I did a little research. Actually, they do wonderful things. So we're going to put the website up in that if you want to donate to the homeless. But they did not think this through. They did not have any gay people on their staff when they named this the Glory Hole.
I know. Well, in fairness, it is Alaska. I feel like Glory Holes would be a little dangerous there. I mean, it'd be so cold. I'd be afraid to whip it out, wouldn't you? Like, nobody wants fry spit on the tip.
Can you imagine an ice Glory Hole?
Oh.
In an igloo?
At one of those ice hotels? Be like,
ooh, all
froze
right.
the tip. All right, flashing home. Unless you live under that same gay rock, you know that yesterday, Representative Aaron Schock announced that he is resigning from Congress effective March 31st. For those of you who don't know, Aaron Schock has been described as the most handsome congressman in Congress. He was on the cover of Men's Health magazine. His Instagram regularly feature him frolicking around the world, doing all sorts of silly and fun and charming things that hot people do. A couple of, 45 days ago, he had a designer redo one of his offices, and they did it in Downton Abbey style, and he got all sorts of flack for that. And then recently it was announced that he travels everywhere with a personal photographer, a very handsome gentleman named Jonathan Link.
We got those pictures, right, John?
He did genuinely get into trouble, and it has been rumored for quite some time that it's possible that he's gay. Frankly, that's sort of funny, but I don't even really care about that. He's very homophobic in his votes. He voted to uphold DOMA, so he's very against our causes that we are passionate about, which makes the potential gay rumors funny ever since that time that he showed up in a teal gingham shirt at a picnic that was a little too gay even for me. But so there have been a bunch of discrepancies in his financial situation. He sold a house for more money than it was worth to a donor. He claimed 170,000 miles on his personal car when he reported it to the government, but then they found the records that when he sold that car, it only had 80,000 miles on it. And he took this photographer on a trip that supposedly he shouldn't have. So it's mainly
paid by
Yes.
Us, right?
No, that was paid for by another organization. An outside organization, but the House only allows you to travel with someone who is an official staffer
Oh, I see.
or a spouse, and he was neither at the time. But the funniest part is his dad came out with quotes this morning saying, well, in 2 years he'll be fine if he's not in jail. And then also, he just dresses well and those kind of things. That doesn't mean he's gay. Like, his dad's giving the best quotes of anyone's life. So we'll see. Frankly, I think he's the kind of handsome that he'll probably end up with a Fox News show. Frankly, if CNN or MSNBC were smart, they'd get him to do a conservative show on their more liberal networks, because young girls and some possible homos would tune in because he is a handsome gentleman.
Well, I don't like him.
Well, he likes Katy Perry, and that just makes me giggle because I do too. Sometimes I feel like a plastic bag floating in the wind.
There's a lot of signs here, but the good news is that he's gone, and he was a hater for our voted against us.
Bye, girl.
So you have another.
Okay, this just falls under the it's just absolutely insane, and I absolutely love it. An Ohio man, it has been discovered, has pooped on 19 cars in the last 2 years. That's the story.
That's it.
A resident snapped a photo of the man, full moon, happening in his driveway. It had happened 5 or 6 times. All of the incidents were in the same neighborhood in Akron. Police say the man targeted hoods of parked cars, but he also left turds inside unlocked vehicles, and fecal matter was also found smeared on the windows of some cars. Y'all, this man is just running around a neighborhood pooping on cars. Yes.
Oh, it's just awful.
Can you imagine you're walking outside and you're like, do, what's that? And you go to and it's poop on your car.
You know, one day I was walking down Sunset Boulevard. I know you're looking at me like there's going to be a long story.
Well, I don't know how poop is involved in this story.
It is involved.
I know.
I was taking my daughter, Carrie Shores, to see her dad's display of books, of playbooks at Samuel French. As I'm walking up to Samuel French, there is a homeless man shitting on the side of the building. And I go, oh, this is my publisher, Carrie. And that's what greeted us, was the man shitting on the side of the building. And so I walked in and I told the clerk there, who I love, I said, there's a man shitting on the building. And he goes, again?
Yes. Oh, but I just have so many questions. How does he do it? I would, if I was getting ready to do that, I'd be so nervous. I'd be all clenched up. I'd be standing there for 5 or 6 minutes trying to relax.
I mean, I've had bird shit on my shirt, but I've never had human shit on my car.
That seems like a lot.
Awful.
Anyway, that's for your enjoyment. Bless
all
your
right,
hearts,
and
Ohio.
Andy Cohen, our buddy, we like him very. I love Andy Cohen. I think he's looking really handsome lately. Things are, the tan's working, everything's working. And he's got a new radio show on Sirius XM.
It's a channel.
It's a whole channel. Yeah, but 2 hours at least will be hosted by him.
Yes.
And he says, this will be the radio extension of my love for pop culture, everything high and low. It'll feature mainly talk from a curated group of celebrities and pop culture fanatics that I love and admire, with some music.
And it's called Radio Andy. I love it.
I'm
just wanted
excited
to.
for him.
Apparently, it's going to be seedier and more interesting and more scandalous even than Watch What Happens. So I feel like he's a great person to pull together.
Do you
a great
think
group
he'll
of
pull
people.
Brandy Granville's podcast over there?
Are you kidding? I would so listen to her show on his network all the time. That's what it needs to be.
I think
hope so.
a second run of the Dell and Emerson show on Sirius
Radio Andy.
Yeah, I think so.
He's touring the country. You know that they're doing this, right? Him and Anderson Cooper, when they have dates free available, they are doing shows together. It's my dream to be at one of these shows because they are the sum total. I've said this on the show before. Anderson Cooper for my political junkie side and Andy Cohen for my pop culture junkie side. It's my match made in heaven.
And they're really good friends.
And I love that.
And Anderson revealed that Andy was a top. We know that now.
Yes,
so.
In my favorite moment ever on Andy's show. It's the only time I've ever seen Andy literally sort of
not know what to say.
Yes, so great.
All right, congratulations, Andy Cohen.
And on our lesbian-themed show, it was super exciting that the U.S. Reform Judaism appoints their first gay woman as the top rabbi. Denise Egger was appointed president of the Central Conference of American Rabbis, becoming only the third woman to hold that post and the first openly gay person. So, yay for Reform Judaism.
Amazing.
And checking in with Crazy.
Oh, Pat Robertson for the third week in a row is in. I'm calling him Pappy Robinson. Pappy Robertson. I said his name wrong, but I will read again. I will channel this old fart. This is what he said. He says that you treat your gay son like a drug addict. You cannot go along and say, I agree with your lifestyle, so don't be an enabler. If he's a drug addict, you don't enable people to continue their drug habits. It's a very difficult relationship. You don't want to shun him. You want to have love, but you gotta let him know that you don't approve of the things that he's doing. Ugh.
You know, it may seem silly that we constantly do these Pat Robertson stories because we joke about that he's 140 years old and like he could go ahead and die already. But the reason we keep putting them in, you know, the one about not attending your child's same-sex marriage ceremony last week, is that as crazy as these things sound to a lot of us that live in the pink bubbles and live in places where that is not a common mentality, there are so many people who still live in places where the woman who wrote this letter would legitimately listen to this response. And it's important that we remember as we move forward legally that we continue to reach back to people that lives in parts of our country and communities where it is not as easy to be out and proudly LGBT as it is for some of the rest of us.
Yeah,
so we laugh at it, but it's important.
Yes, he has a big following, and as I always say, he says it in a way that is very sweet, very gentle. It's not that crazy rhetoric. And so, yes, you're right, Emerson. People do listen.
And finally, what's gay in sports ball? Dancing with the Stars premiered on Monday night. And it counts as a sport. That shit is hard.
On the gay show like ours, it certainly does count.
I couldn't do it.
One of the best sports ever.
Nah, I got to be honest. I only watched Michael Sam because he's like, you know, one of the 3 sports ball players that I can name because he's gay.
He's so beautiful.
And I thought he did great. And my favorite line of that performance was Bruno when he finished. He said, "That butt is a work of art." And I completely agree.
Oh, it was great. He danced well. He's going to go far in the competition. He's charming.
So charming.
He's very personable and loving and gracious. But the surprise for me, I watched the whole thing last night, was Rumor Willis. She was so endearing and so sweet, and the whole family was there. And she just owned being a celebrity's kid, saying, you know, this is what I am, a singer, but this is my passion, and you'll know me more for being Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's child.
Yeah.
But she is going to probably win.
Oh.
She was amazing.
Wait, how was Suzanne Summers? Oh, that says it all.
She wore an unfortunate outfit. It was not. It was they sort of featured the Thigh Master.
It's product placement. You got to make that money.
But I love Suzanne Summers. I love Miss Patti LaBelle. She got out there at 70 years old and did her thing and got a standing ovation. But it was a standing ovation because she's Miss Patti LaBelle.
Absolutely,
dancing
as it should
to Lady
be.
Marmalade.
I'm sure Michael Sam's thrilled she's there. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Enjoy this track from Ann Steele's brand new EP, What's Mine, available now. We'll be right back.
Yes. And we are back. And we have some amazing ladies in the house. We have Kelli Carpenter. Welcome.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and we have the amazing Ann Steele. I should have said the fantastic Kelli Carpenter, you know, to give you equal sort of adjectives.
It's important with the adjectives.
Yeah. But they're a team. Y'all are married, right?
She makes me feel fantastic. So.
Well,
Sorry.
You said it was lesbian hour, so.
Yes, it totally
It
is.
is.
I know.
It's
It's
our
weird.
lesbian
It's
hour.
like
Touchy feely.
it's like smart and thinky and like not snarky, and it's like I don't know what I'm doing here.
we're trying to, bring in a different demographic.
Got it. We can be snarky.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
bring it. And they're we're kidding, but they're really two impressive women. Kelli Carpenter is the co-founder and manager of Our Family Vacations, and Ann Steele is here. That song that you just heard is from her brand new album. She has been a huge star of the entertainer cabaret world for quite some time, but this is her first album of all original music, and that's what we want to talk about today.
And you have all these awards I
So
was not
many.
aware of.
I do.
Yeah, good for you.
She's for real.
Yeah.
And the great reviews. I wish that I think though in the press release you should just put one bad one, because that's what I'm going to start doing in my press releases. But Del Shores has
Just to
no
throw them, right, a little
talent.
bit?
He should return to Texas where his humor will be appreciated.
I don't have any. Wait for it.
Hashtag oh and.
It's coming any
Well,
day
you
now.
certainly don't have one for me. I listened to the whole EP this morning. It wasn't long enough.
Oh.
I loved it. I can't wait for your show at Rockwell, which is next
It's
Sunday.
This Sunday, the 22nd.
Yes.
I'll be there.
Yes.
And you are. I was saying in the break, you are my kind of gal, because I sort of am. I gravitate to the kind of a teenage 20-something women anthem girl. It's like,
right.
That's most of the time are pissed off.
Right. Yes.
Which
I have
I
one
wanna-
of those for sure.
There's some good stories behind some of this music.
Well,
so.
well, y'all are so in love, because I hung out with y'all in Puerto Vallarta.
Yes.
But I want to know, who were you talking to in some of these songs?
Okay. So at my release in New York, everyone was saying, there's one thing missing. There's not a love song on it. You're so happy now. Like, what's that about? And I said, well, we wrote a love song. It wasn't ready. So we're going to release it later as a single. So it's sort of the one piece of my life
cut.
that's missing.
No, you were too
No.
important to be
Yes.
lumped in
It
with
wasn't
all
even
of that.
released as a single.
It wasn't
Yes.
ready. So yeah, I did write one really angry song.
Ooh, that one worst I ever had.
Worst I ever had.
I related.
It's really funny. It's as I wrote it, it was kind of cathartic writing it, because it was getting out all this sort of nasty stuff that's been sort of in there for so long about this one relationship a long time ago, and I just everyone's like, well, if she hears it, would she know? And I'm like, oh, she'll know. Like, I mean, it's so
Yes.
specific that it's nasty, but I feel like anybody could hear it and kind of relate, like
Absolutely.
to like an angry breakup or
Absolutely.
getting devastated or whatever it may be. Like, it's one of those songs where you can like scream it in your car or something like
Now, what was this process like for you? Because obviously, for quite some time, I have seen your other shows, and you are an incredible interpreter of other people's music and songs that sort of brings new meaning and your own perspective to the lyrics, and you've done that so well for so long. What was it like to start the process of, I'm going to put me out there in the music?
Thank you for saying that, first of all. And second of all, it's scary. I had never written before, really. I had written a lot of journals and spent a lot of time kind of personally writing for myself. But to actually write something that you're going to, look, you understand, writing something that you're going to put out in the world and sort of be judged for in a way that's so different than, doing someone else's material. I can interpret a song,
Yes,
and
you
it's just
can.
my interpretation. I didn't write it. But to write your own words and share that with the world is so private and sort of scary on a whole different level. So I was very nervous. But I had this amazing partner. His name is Eric James, and he's this brilliant musician. And I'd worked with him for years in New York City Piano Bar. And I went to him and I said, look, I want to do this album, and I want it to be this kind of album. And he's like, I've got the perfect people. I know the studio. I have the best musicians. They all live in Austin, Texas. We're going to write this together. Then we're going to go to Austin, and we're going to record it there. And I was completely, freaked out, scared. And I did the whole thing through a Kickstarter, actually.
I was just going to ask about
Yeah.
that, because when we were in Mexico, it was like at the end of
Oh my
it.
gosh, you were there for the height of all
Yes,
of
it ended on Halloween last year.
Yes.
So, as you do. So I, it was scary because it was also asking people to give to something that didn't exist yet. So it was all scary, but it has been the most amazing experience.
And you had it was a very successful Kickstarter.
Yes, we went way over.
Yeah,
and it
good
was
for
great.
you.
It was really great.
Awesome. Well, it's truly wonderful, and I think I'm excited about the Rockwell show. Are you going to blend some of the old stuff that with the?
There's the 6 new songs, and then there are about 7 covers.
All new covers, though.
And
You
that
didn't-
love
you didn't hear
song, is it
before.
going to make the cut at all?
It's not in this show.
Kelly's got to wait.
No, it's
She
it's
sings
gonna
a
be,
song to me in the show.
I
though.
do.
Yes.
I sub in. I sub in a song.
When she isn't sending her to get drinks.
Well,
I did that once. I did that once.
Yes.
Alanis Morissette, after
Yes.
she had the huge success with Jagged Little Pill, then she got happy, and
Yeah.
she said, "Happiness ruined my career."
Right. Well, that's what I sort of did. The way we wrote this album, we went back and I got my old journals out and I wrote from the past, sort of. And that's why it was sort of could go through those phases of angry or, coming out and all those different parts of my life.
Well, what's interesting too about the song that you were playing before we came on is, the lyrics are pretty poignant about growing up and feeling different and all that, but it's put to a peppy, fun beat that you can bounce around. But if you do listen to the lyrics, it's about growing up in the middle of Indiana and not feeling like you fit in, and what were the reasons, and that it does get better.
Well, that's what when I was listening today, I was thinking there was a bit of a counter what you're saying to what if you read it as poetry. It's much more dramatic than what you're listening to.
Well, that's
so it's
how I
almost
wrote
like,
it.
Yeah, I love that.
I wrote the lyrics. Eric wrote the music. So we were watching. I was having a little bit of a writer's block problem, and we started watching this show, the Linda Perry Project on VH1, and it was all on. It was like we were binge watching it just all the way through, and I had never seen it, and it was she's crazy. I mean, she's amazing, but I mean, the whole show is crazy. Like, she breaks these people on a level that is not okay. Like, they all end up being better for it, but it was rough to watch. Yeah. So in the middle of the show, I said, honey, can we just pause it for a second? I think I have something. So I wrote this down basically as a poem, top to bottom, as is. Right then, in the middle of the thing. And then I was like, okay, I feel better. Now let's watch the rest. Because she kept saying, like, write what you know. Stop trying to write, because I was trying to write a gay anthem. Stop trying to write a gay anthem. She didn't say that, but that's what I heard, you know? She said, stop trying to write this or that or this or that. Write what you know. Write your life. So I thought, you know what do I know? I remember driving through the cornfields. This sounds so stupid, but driving through the cornfields and feeling so alone in my car, crying and listening to the radio and singing like Richard Marx or whatever I was listening to at the time. I just dated myself. But anyway, my point is, like, just driving around being very lonely. Right. Even though I had friends and had a family, and nobody knew who I was.
Because you had that big secret.
Right. Well, I didn't really know what the secret was at the time. Yeah. Like, I didn't feel like that, but clearly it was. And I just felt different and like I didn't fit in. So that's what motivated this song. And if you look at Motown, like old Motown songs, they were always these sort of deep, tragic lyrics that were written upbeat and peppy so that people wouldn't notice. They'd be attracted by the beboppy, Motown sound. But if you go back and listen to Stop in the Name of Love is terribly sad.
Baby, don't leave me.
All these lyrics are so sad, but it's written to this upbeat, fun, so you don't notice. It kind of floats over you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's because, the great songwriting like this, the personal becomes universal when it's well written.
Right.
So it's your specifics, like, no, I made the cornfields, that means nothing to me. But in my mind, that becomes replaced with my own, like driving through suburban Houston, and then we arrive at the chorus that's like, we all felt this.
Right.
Exactly.
And also, you don't have to be gay to get it. You could be just a kid that doesn't fit in or super smart.
I don't know any teen that feels like they fit in.
Yeah.
And you're
I knew
raising
a couple.
a few.
Right.
I knew a couple that
We
seemed
have
like they
4.
fit in just fine.
Yeah, they thought they did for sure.
How old are your kids now?
19, 17, 15, and 12.
So we just did this whole...
And I'm just for me, I love their kids so much because their kids watch my show.
They do.
That's right. I remember when
We have people's couch dinners.
They've had to sit through all of it because the kids like it.
No,
And
we like
Bravo,
it.
are you
Oh,
listening?
no, we love it.
We're the ones that showed it to them. We were like, you got to watch this show. We know people on it. And so now they're obsessed.
But the funniest is it's our studly 15-year-old boy that asked to watch it all the time.
Yes!
He is obsessed.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
loves it. Thinks it's so funny.
And it's amazing. Not my usual target demographic,
No,
let's be
really.
honest.
Now, how did y'all feel about the Dolce & Gabbana whole flap?
Well, I hate seeing our community eat our own. We've
Yes.
come so far, and it just, look, everybody has a right to their opinion, but it's disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, on so many levels, and also, on the level that there's so many other, not only the gay community uses these techniques to, if you can't get pregnant and you want to have your own family, it's just an attack that they haven't lived it. They obviously don't want to have children, which is their choice in their life, but don't knock the other people that want to have children.
And what about the children who are old enough to read this and hear this to feel less than just because of this stupid, come on.
I just think it reflects so poorly on them. I don't think it doesn't alter, the gay family movement or anything like that. It's just like they just look like idiots mostly.
Well, and I mean, and beyond your own personal experience, you've spent what 12 years now working very specifically with
Right.
LGBT families.
Right. And I just think it just is more of a poor reflection of them than it is on gay families in general.
And speaking of your cruises, and we met on not quite a cruise; it was a land vacation. But you guys met as it was sort of you started dating the boss, right?
Well, yeah, I did.
Yes. Moving on
I
up.
did, yeah.
So tell us about the beginnings of that love story, because I loved hearing about it when we were.
Well, I've known her for a long time, and we were both obviously in other relationships, and we were sort of never. We were just friends. We were sort of like. You're right. She was my boss. She was hiring me, but not really ever did it feel like that. She was just sort of, whatever. And so we were friends. We were like fringy friends. You know what I mean?
Like it's not like we didn't go to the movies together or anything.
Right.
Like when we saw each other, we hung out, we'd have a drink, whatever. It was no big deal.
Yeah, or like you'd had a party, I came to your party, like that kind of thing, or
Right.
we'd see each other out. But then all of a sudden, she had one trip, and we were both single. And she had been single then for a while at that point. And so I was suddenly newly single. And we were like, hey, why didn't we ever...
And also it was a group. It wasn't a full charter. So it's smaller. And on the smaller trips, I get a chance to hang out more.
Relax.
Exactly.
Right.
And so all of a sudden we were in charge of the beach day.
No,
and
wait,
we were in
yes.
Hawaii.
And the truth is, one guest started hitting on her. And she said to me...
I asked her to help me.
Will you be my wingman? And I'm like... I'll be your wingman. What does that mean exactly? And so she's like, just come to the beach with me today and like whatever, sit by me or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So we went and we sat by each other and we like talked all day long at the beach.
Well, I always knew she was beautiful, and I always knew she was talented, but like I didn't realize how smart and funny and interesting she
you
was.
didn't know what a good kisser she was.
Exactly. Well, I found out later that week.
Please tell, because my favorite part of the entire story is the story about the hands.
Oh, right.
Because it's so like adorably, wonderfully like,
I know.
sweet.
It's like one of those moments where you're like, you can remember it. Everything just sort of comes flooding back. We were up in the disco, like at the end of the night. Actually, we were watching Julie Goldman perform.
Right.
Oh,
We love her.
Yeah, she was one of.
So
she
much.
was one of. Oh, also the People's Couch.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
she was your comedian on the
Yep.
board, and we were watching her perform, and she just sort of put her hand on top of my hand. We were sitting next to each other because I was being her wingman, and I was like, "Did she just touch my hand?" You know what I mean? It started to be like that little thing, and then her hand would go back, and then her finger would kind of come down and touch my finger. And I was like, what the? And there were guests all around us, like people that were with us. And I was like, this is what's happening? It's kind of crazy. And it was just this crazy, like sitting there. It's like we were 12 years old.
Like like when you first, and then
You
all of a
feel
sudden,
those
like your heart starts
tingles.
racing, and you
right.
feel
It
really
was
warm,
full
and
on.
like,
And I was like, oh my God, literally a finger, like just the touch.
Okay, you
I mean,
have
hey,
to
I hate
write
to say
this
it like
song.
that. That's
Yeah.
weird. But
You have to write this song. This is a song. It's a great song.
It's in the song.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
It's
Because
in the song.
returning to being 12 and those feelings
It's
is
in
a
the
great
song.
thing.
Yeah.
That's not, the finger's not a problem,
No.
because the whole time you were telling the story, I was thinking, you know why I find this so sweet? Because as gay men, let's say that entirely too often ours start with like, here's a picture of my penis.
Yeah, right.
So the like cute middle school part often gets skipped.
Yeah.
would it be
Well-
interesting though if you actually just decided to not do that and see what it would
well,
feel like?
It's funny. I do know a lot of people. Different methods work for everyone. But I know people who really love electronic dating, that it frees them up with their busy schedules. But I know a number of people who have walked away from it and said, that's starting to feel like a lot and a lot of pressure, and I just want to let
Right.
the people I encounter in my life as I live it.
Like chemistry is just an interesting thing, and I don't
yeah.
think you can feel chemistry on an electronic device.
I think you know as soon as you meet up, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and see, and I have been made myself more than a little bit available through times, and it is funny because I used to be like, we have to have coffee first, because like in 30 seconds I can
You can know, right.
No.
Right.
I
know,
love the
there's
way
that-
you worded that, Emerson. A little bit available.
Yes.
little bit of it.
Right? That's how I
A little
describe
door
it.
opening.
I have made myself. I did it. I went through a phase where I said, after my last relationship ended, I was like, I feel like I'm being judgy or weird, and I'm looking at all these ticked boxes on these platforms and going, that doesn't fit, that doesn't work for me. So I made a commitment that I was going to say yes to anyone that asked me out, to at least coffee.
You just swiped right.
And I had
Swipe right. Swipe right.
so many bad coffees.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, then you're like, forget the coffee.
Because here's the thing, like, I'm not a nice person. I mean, I'm a lot of fun, but I'm not really a nice person. So, like,
amazing.
I sit
it's
down.
good to know your strengths.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, there are a lot of really positive adjectives adjectives you can use to describe me. Nice just isn't one of them.
He's so sweet. You don't hear that.
But friendship and relationships are different because I can sit down to coffee at someone with friendship and go, 5 minutes, you're interesting. Let's keep going.
Right,
An
right.
hour, that was really great. Let's have dinner sometime. But with dating, there really is. I'm a big responder to chemistry, and it's like 2 minutes in. It's either maybe there's something, so let's keep going, but just
you
as
definitely
often
know when
it's-
there's not something.
Yes, instantly.
Although I feel that I'm that way too. I've never been in a relationship with someone that I didn't know right away that I was going to be probably in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
I mean, lesbians are different. We like kind of like do that thing
Yeah,
where it
U-Hauls
goes from
and-
0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
Although we did
We
not do
couldn't,
that.
Yeah.
How
which
long
was
have you
great.
been together?
April 1st, it'll be 5 years. We got
And
married
married?
2 years ago,
2
June
years ago.
1st.
Okay. All right. Well,
my
congratulations. That's amazing. And how is it being stepmom?
It's amazing.
Is it?
Yeah, this is why we took it really slow because, when you date someone with kids, it's not, you can have time alone, but you're kind of committing to what the family is going to be.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it seems like there's more steps, right? Because there's the you part, and then there's the getting to know your family part, and then
Right.
Well, the
And
interesting
and then
thing,
doing...
what was really amazing and safe for me is the kids already knew Anne because she was performing on
Oh,
all of our
right,
cruises.
yeah.
And they totally fell in love with her. And I was holding off telling them until I was sure.
Sure.
Because they would have, immediately when we finally, it was like 6 to 8 months into dating, we decided that we were going to commit to each other and be only with each other. And I told the kids, and Vivi was like, yes!
She ran upstairs to the closet and was like, "Mama,
moving all my
moved her
crap
clothes
out of
over."
the
And she's like,
closet.
"Annie's clothes go here," and I'm like, "Oh, sister, I'm not moving in. I know we're lesbians and all that."
And it's a thing we do, but
So they were rooting for you.
She literally slid all of her clothes down and was like, "You need to get rid of some of these clothes."
Oh, that is
That's so
sweet.
great.
I knew that I didn't want anybody to come into our lives, and that being mine and the children's, it wasn't going to make it even more joyful than it already was.
Yeah.
And Anne does that. They absolutely love her. So.
Well, I think you're amazing role models. I had such a fun time with y'all hanging out. I want to do that again. And
Yeah.
we're excited about your show on Sunday
Yay.
night.
yes,
Right.
for
Tell
those
us
of
how
you
to get
here in
tickets.
LA, Rockwell Table and Stage, it's at rockwellticketing.com, but just put in Rockwell Table and Stage, and her big, beautiful face is there with the poster. It's in the chat room, and we'll
And
put it on
hurry,
our page.
because there aren't that many tickets
No,
left.
there's not many left.
And where can people get the album now, for those of you listening that can't get to the show?
iTunes,
Yes.
and CD Baby.
Yes, what's mine? Anne Steele. That's with an E at the end of both of those words.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you
Love
like
this
that?
picture.
I was
That's
thinking.
it.
Lots of ease.
And where can people find you on social media to keep track of everything that you're doing?
On Twitter, I'm the Ann Steele. On Facebook, I'm the real Ann Steele.
Yes.
And you also have a website.
I have a website, annsteele.com.
Great.
And you can get all that stuff on there.
Yes. And Miss Carpenter?
Our Family Vacations, just the letter R. And I also do another cruise called the Broadway Cruise, and that has its own website. too.
Yes. That's amazing. You ladies are so wonderful.
Aw,
Thank you
y'all
for
having
so
taking
me.
the time out to
much for
join
taking time.
us.
Yes, we're thrilled to have you. Yeah, they're behind there.
It's the big
Oh,
studio
man.
audience.
God,
They
I love
loved
the live
you.
studio
They were like,
audience.
this is amazing. All right. Well, that will wrap it up for us. I will not be here next week. I will be
What?
in tech rehearsal. He knows this. He's just being ridiculous.
What the fuck am I going to do?
I will be in Palm
Can y'all
Springs
come back and co-host with me?
I was like, if we're available,
in tech rehearsals for my show. So I will try
that.
to call in for a couple of minutes to cheerlead. But since my show opens next Friday, good luck.
Are you going to do all the research, or am I going to have to do all that by myself?
Good luck.
Oh.
I'll send you some links.
I am so fucked.
As always, thank you guys for listening. If you're interested in sponsoring the Dell and Emerson Show, because seriously, we're about to actually get really serious about like that has to happen or the show will end.
And we just our
Aw.
ratings just went up again. We're like almost at 20,000 listeners
Wow,
live a
yay.
week.
You guys
And
are really
Great.
great. We
so
appreciate
thank
you.
We'll see you next week. It'll just be
Goodbye.
me. Bye.
Good luck. That's gonna be.
Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network.